The reason why we started the foundation is that we have 3 adopted children, and they are our life. They mean the world to us.
When we sit around this table right here, we are no different than any other family. That's Yenu, that's Anna. Those are my kids, and that's it.
But the minute they got out of the vehicle, they automatically went running to him and yelling, "Daddy!" And it was just like he just melted. That's all there was to it.
A little bit.
And I just think that she was intended to be my child, and everything. There was nothing that was going to stand in the way of that.
And we just knew in our hearts that it was the right thing to do. And I dare anybody try to take them now.
For a relatively small amount of money, relatively speaking, we give a child a home for a lifetime, and we make some parents' dream come true.
It's a sense of fulfillment. We've had a lot of people over the years give to us, and we're giving something back. And we've always wanted a big family. And if it wouldn't have been for circumstances, in our particular cases, we would have had more children.
My career was kind of keeping me busy, and then I turned around, and the next thing I knew, I was 33, and I thought, if I'm going to do this and still have energy to do this, then I need to do this, because that was the one thing in life that I didn't want to miss out on, was being a mom, of being a parent.
There are children who just need love and the security of a home. And to get those children into a home, they grow to be loving, caring, productive adults. Our first son was adopted from Peru, and we went down there in January of '91, and we were supposed to be there 6 weeks, and we were there about 3.5 months, almost 4 months.
She was in an orphanage for 10 years and in an abusive foster family for 2 years. She can't see, so in China, being an orphan, not being able to see, and a female, she had nothing. She had no future. There would have been nothing for her.
They were taken from their biological parents in Russia basically they just abandoned them. Because when the girls arrived to us, each of them had 1 suitcase. That's what they came with, was a small suitcase.
In addition to the agonizing wait, not knowing whether we were going to bring our son back, it was during the Gulf War, and there was a lot of anti-U.S. sentiment down there, and we would actually hear explosions going off 2 blocks from the hostel that we were staying at. So it was not a real safe place to be. They had a cholera epidemic when we were down there. We experienced an earthquake while we were down there. So it was the experience of a lifetime. It was the best, worst time we've ever had. It can range from as little as nothing to as much as $30,000 or more.
I think the challenge of it is that most time in life, when things come along, you don't have this huge, large sum of money that you have to pay, in one increment.
We lost a good neighbor in the tornado that lived next door that I've known all my life. We had to go get a loan to rebuild a house. Insurance didn't pay enough to even rebuild. It was going to strap us financially, but one way or another we was going through.
Most of our applicants have looked into second mortgages, lines of credit if they're possible. They've gone to family and friends. They've looked to see what they can do on their credit cards, and will max out their credit cards.
At that point, I owned a house, and I mortgaged my house. I worked contract work in the evening so I could try to save up money, because I knew it was going to be expensive.
When people ask, why does it cost so much money, you're talking about a huge transaction. You're talking about taking the legal status of a child and changing it forever.
We had heard about the babies in China, the girls in China, and the cost and the process was very daunting.
International adoptions are more expensive because those are even more complicated. Not only do you have to have an approved home study in the state that you live in, but then you're talking about, if you're going to a foreign country, you're talking about translating documents. They have to be certified that they're original. You're talking about Interpol background checks, transportation, flights, lodging. Usually, most adoptions, you have to stay in the country for at least a couple weeks. During our adoption process of all three of the kids, we met many people who were struggling, and even some people who maybe adopted one child and could not afford to adopt the second one. So we started to consider that there are people out there that would be wonderful parents, but they simply don't have the resources to afford adoption.
Other than the foundation, I don't know of anybody else out there that's willing to step up, and with not wanting any compensation in return, to just come in and say, here, we'll help.
That's just it in a nutshell. If it wasn't for the foundation, I can't even imagine how many children wouldn't be home.
We are not an adoption agency. We do not match up children with adoptive parents or a parent. We simply help an adoptive family, adoptive parents afford the adoption.
We come across a lot of remarkable situations where people have gone through so much to try to adopt and still fall short of the amount of money that they need to adopt.
And here you're in this very emotional situation, and here's this great place, that sends you the last bit of money like they did for me that I needed to make it happen and decrease stress. I mean, that is just so extremely valuable.
The best thing is that it's given with so much love. The foundation loves those kids. They're in it completely solely for the children. Absolutely. The magic of adoption is everything. Your kids are everything. They go from being this picture to your life.
They didn't want to open up, and then just a couple months ago is when they for the first time, said, hey, when you say tuck them in bed at night and say, I love you, and they said, I love you back, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's that's a tearjerker.
It's a miracle to have her in my life and to be able to, be privileged enough to share her life with her. And it doesn't end. I mean, we get to go on this journey together, which is very neat.
They go from this dream to this reality, and the reality is so much better than the dream. Yeah.
The long-term vision that we have for the foundation is that anyone who's capable of adopting and has a home and is willing to open up their heart and their home to a child for a lifetime would be able to do it financially.
Right now, what we're doing is we're starting chapters throughout major cities in the United States. We have chapters right now that are up and going, that they are incorporated, they have board of directors. I would not say we really deny anyone. We just don't have enough money to help everyone.
I think what it's done is it's humbled me. We have people who adopt blind children, Down syndrome children, children who are burned over 80% of their bodies, and they do it quietly, and they do it just simply out of the love of their hearts.
I can't say, enough how much they helped me, and Daphne's healthy, and we're both happy today, and and that's partly due to them and helping us out.
They were the most accommodating, loving people I have ever met.
You break down, you start crying like, wow, there is somebody out there that cares too and going to help you.
it just, once you meet someone from the foundation, it just keeps going. You just keep meeting someone else wonderful, and I'm really, really, really honored and proud to be a part of it. I'm very honored and proud. I love it.
I challenge anyone to give me a better cause, short of saving someone's life, where for a grant of $3,000 or $4,000, you can provide a child a home for a lifetime, and you can make a parent's dream come true. It's almost a magical feeling.